Good day, student. My name is Astrid Mwongora. I'm your tutor for professional and community development. We are going to look at the PowerPoint for 2022. Here are my details if you need to contact me during the course of the week or during the course of the weekend. Let's start. The main goal of this presentation is to highlight some important aspects of the module. Students require in preparing for the assignment and examinations. The content of the presentation will focus more on topics which are known to be challenging to students. It should be taken that topics which are not covered in this presentation are less important as others. Hence, due to time and much content, not all topics may be covered, and those to be covered will not be discussed in more detail. You are therefore advised to consult me for any questions related to other topics that are not covered here or further explanation. Aim of examination on the contact classes is to provide guidance on how to approach examination questions. To caution students not to make common mistakes in the examination. This presentation is on both blended mode. Let's look at the general instructions. First, clearly write your name, your ID number, and state your examination center. Note the following general instructions. Questions should be answered on the question paper. Answer all questions for 120 marks. Use the mark allocation for each question as a guide for how many facts are needed. Let's look at the questions now. Question 1 focuses on the statements are either true or false. Each question carries 1 mark. Indicate by writing T, which is true, or F for false in the column indicated. Question 2, matching of terminologies, column A, to their definitions in column B. Write the corresponding letter to the definition in the space provided. Question 3 mostly is about defining and explaining terminologies. The aim is to assess basic knowledge, comprehension, and skills. Question 4 mostly about expounding on topics. The aim is to assess higher levels of understanding by asking application and analyzing of information. Question 5 mostly is about critical thinking. The aim is to assess very high level of understanding. All students should be able to define the following terms and concepts: profession, team spirit, professional development, gender disparity, emotional intelligence, entrepreneurship, collaboration, professionalism, code of conduct, community development, curriculum vitae, assertive communication, and business plan. Let's look at the definition of some of the terms. Professionalism can be defined as conduct, aims, or qualities that characterize or mark a profession or a professional person. It refers to the skills, competency, or character expected of a member of a highly trained profession. Code of conduct outlines measures to be followed in cases where a teacher has contravened or failed to comply with any provision of the code of conduct. It states how teachers who don't adhere to the code of conduct should be disciplined. Team spirit means support, cooperation, working together, pulling together of teachers, learners, and parents in order to increase school performance. Entrepreneurship is the planning, starting up, running and development of one's business. The latter could refer to starting up a new business or to reviewing an existing business. Curriculum vitae is the way you introduce yourself to the institution where you applied for more information about yourself. Now, let's look at the topics and what are you expected to know in each unit. We'll start with Unit 1. You have to know the professional roles and responsibility of teachers relating to parent, community, and teaching. The key word here is professional, expected, role, and responsibility of a teacher, as well as relating to responsibility towards the school. Achieving and sustaining team spirit in the school setting. Why teaching is a profession. The professional code of conduct for teachers. Look at the implication of standard for teachers, as well as the national professional standard for teachers. In Unit 2, is about teaching professional and professionalism. Look at the professional development, models of professional development. Look at the reasons why professional development is important for the teachers. Types of professional training for different categories of teachers. Professional development and accountability. You have to know the difference between formal professional development and informal development. Unit 3 will look at personal and professional development. It is very important. You have to know the professional development, opportunities for personal and professional development. Uses of computer-based technology. Look at the challenges the Namibian teachers experience in the teaching profession. Look at the values, attitudes, and expectation of the newly qualified teachers. Look at the parenting. The development stages of children between the ages of 1 and 18 years and how it impacts on learning. Unit 4, we are going to look at community development, roles of professional people. You need to understand the community development, principles, the futures and outcomes, the roles of educators in addressing poverty. Look at the poverty and its effect on learners. Gender disparity and educating the girl child. Collaboration as part of change agents and leaders. Establishing collaborative relationship with colleagues. Poverty reduction, health promotion and HIV and AIDS, and parenting. You have to know the definition of community and community development. Unit 5, we are going to look at development of emotional intelligence and thinking skills. You are expected or you have to understand the human emotions. Look at the characteristic of high emotional intelligence. You are expected to know the characteristic of a person or a person low emotional intelligence. The influence of emotional intelligence on professional growth. Look at the benefits of assertive communication. Look at the communication styles, as well as look at the effect on the person communicated to. These are very important for this unit. Let's look at Unit 6. The topic is job searching skills. You have to know the difference between curriculum vitae and resume. You have to know the interview skills, types of mentoring models, covering letter for employment, duties and competency of a mentor, principle of participation in community development. You also have to know the key questions that underpin all questions of the interviewers. It's very, very important. Let's look at our last unit, that is Unit 7. Our topic is how to start up an entrepreneurial business. Look at the key questions to ask before starting a business. Look at the business options in the education field. Guidelines for starting a business. You have to look at the factors to consider when you are starting up a business. Look at the business plan, including the headings. Look at the tips or suggestion for writing a curriculum vitae. It's very important. Students must demonstrate that they know entrepreneur is another word for business person. Let's summarize. Remember that in order for you to fully understand the subject, you have to study all the study units and work through the learning outcomes and learning activities. The information on these slides are just a guideline to use. It is important to go through the study units and read further. In the examination, answer all the questions in the exam papers. The mark allocation is a guideline for how many facts are needed and for the time needed to answer each question. You have to write neatly and legibly. Read the questions carefully and note the verbs used, as this will indicate what is required from you. In conclusion, study the verbs in the guidebook, know the definition of the key concept, study to understand, prepare to write from your own understanding of what you have studied. Revise your assignment in preparation for the examination. Read the questions carefully before you start writing. I thank you very much for listening. Thank you.